I want to show you a story that seems simple. But if you look deeper, it's a warning for each of us. Everyone has seen them on camera, the elegant Melania and the loud, expressive Donald Trump. Smiles, gestures, and polite poses, everything looks perfect, but behind this facade lies a very different story. What happens off camera often shocks and makes you wonder, can public behavior reveal the true dynamics of a relationship, even when carefully controlled but subtly revealing the truth? Write in the comments if you've noticed anything similar. Your observations might uncover details most people miss. There is one incident that shocked even the most devoted observers. During an official reception at the White House, Trump suddenly stopped, turned to Melania, and did something that looked like a long, emotionally tense argument in the middle of the room, under the gaze of journalists and world leaders. She barely stepped back but remained cold, like a statue, while his face glowed with anger and irritation. Cameras captured every move, and the world saw a tension usually hidden behind a diplomatic facade. From the outside, their public relationship seems like a constant balancing act. Trump seeks to control attention and create a show, while Melania maintains composure, distance, and protects her personal space. Every public appearance becomes a stage for microdrama. He gestures, leans, and tries to capture her attention, while she barely moves her shoulder, keeping her internal control intact. Every glance, every movement of the hands, seemingly random gestures, they all become a complex language of signals that only a careful observer can read. Sometimes, these microdramas shock the audience. Trump's light touches on her hand look like attempts at control. Melania's short glances seem like emotional restraint, and their distance on the carpet during an official walk speaks louder than words. Every move, every pause, every change in position is part of an invisible script where he seeks attention and she seeks autonomy. This creates a constant tension, even through a screen. Observers have noticed their public disagreements almost always contradict the image of the perfect couple. It's a contrast between loud displays of attention and cold detachment, between emotional expression and restrained dignity. And it is precisely because of these contradictory moments that the public starts asking, what really happens between them when the cameras are off? The moment that shocked the world and at the same time became the clearest signal of their public dynamics showed one thing: even in a world where everything is staged, there are moments when true relationships slip through the facade, revealing tension, a struggle for control, and hidden emotions. And it is these moments that make their relationship so controversial, observable, and endlessly discussed. But if you look closer, even more details emerge that usually go unnoticed. Melania almost never starts a conversation first. She often waits for Trump to make the first move, and this is no coincidence. When he leans in to speak to her or address her during a public event, she almost always maintains distance, a small step back, a barely noticeable shoulder tilt, a slight torso turn. This is not just restraint, it's a public strategy, a way to control personal space and image. Trump, on the other hand, almost always ensures that attention is on him. His large gestures, rhythmic hand movements, leaning toward Melania, quick glances in her direction all create an effect of control and presence. When he laughs, she responds very cautiously, like a brief polite smile rather than a genuine acknowledgement of emotion. From the outside, it seems that she deliberately distances herself, while he constantly seeks ways to connect their attention in public. These contrasts create constant tension on camera. Even a brief moment, when they walk side by side on the carpet during an official event, is full of symbolism. Distance between them, gaze directions, hand gestures, body positions, all can be read as the language of public relationship dynamics. Every movement of Trump's aims to seize space, every movement of Melania's aims to preserve autonomy. And these small gestures communicate more to the viewer than any interpretation. It's especially interesting to watch the audience's reactions. When they appear on stage together, the public often perceives them as the perfect couple, but a careful look reveals asynchrony. He smiles broadly and gestures energetically. She responds calmly, almost emotionless. Occasionally, a brief glance sideways or a subtle eyebrow raise signals restraint or mild displeasure unnoticed by most. Amazingly, some observers note that during moments of high public attention, they can synchronize, brief touches of hands, quick glances, subtle torso tilts, moments when their public images briefly align with private dynamics. But these moments vanish quickly, and they return to their contrasting public performance, where he is loud, expressive, and she remains controlled and restrained. Comparing their public appearances over the years, it is clear that this dynamic persists across different contexts. Political events, interviews, and official receptions. Melania rarely expresses emotions in a way that is noticeable, and her gestures and facial expressions often appear minimalist, even artificial, but it is precisely this restraint that makes her behavior powerful. She controls her image and protects her personal space in a public environment observed under a microscope. Trump, conversely, almost always seeks maximum self-display, using public stages to emphasize his charisma and presence. His movements are large, his intonations loud, his gestures nearly theatrical. This creates a constant contrast between them that captures audience attention and provokes discussion. Even brief interactions during public appearances become objects of analysis. A hand touch, a lean toward one another, a quick glance, all are perceived as signs of public secrecy, small signals of what happens beyond the cameras, and these signals often contradict the official image of the perfect couple. Thus, their public relationship is a constant game of contrasts, where loudness and restraint, expression and control, closeness and distance intersect in a complex, contradictory dance. This dynamic makes their relationship incredibly fascinating to observe. Even in short broadcast moments, one can read dozens of signals about their interactions, power rituals, behavioral patterns, and underlying tension. And that is why the world never tires of watching them. Every public appearance is a new episode in an endless series of conflicting public signals, where viewers can speculate about the real story behind the facade and decode the language of gestures, glances, and micro-dramas that make up their public relationship. Write in the comments if you've noticed anything similar. Perhaps your observations will reveal a new layer of understanding about the public dynamics of this relationship.